Hello and welcome to Nkumat's Online Academy. In today's lesson, we want to look at atmospheric pressure, and that means we are basically looking at gas pressure. We've looked at pressure on a solid surface and pressure in a liquid in our previous lessons. So today we are focusing our attention on gas pressure and atmospheric pressure. What is an atmospheric pressure? Atmospheric pressure is the pressure exerted by the air. The pressure exerted by the air in the atmosphere. When we introduced the concept of pressure, we said that a pressure is a force that is acting on a surface. When air is moving, it causes a pull or a push on a body that it comes in contact with. So the air moving has a force that it pulls or pull on a body, and that constitutes a pressure. So like we said there, that a, a force has to be in contact with a body for it to constitute a pressure. So when the air is pushing on a body, it leads to a pressure, or when it pulling a body, it leads to a pressure. So atmospheric pressure is the effect of the force on a surface, or the force acting per unit surface by the atmospheric air. Atmospheric pressure is measured in millimeter mercury, or Newton per meter squared, or Pascal, or other units that we use in measuring pressure, or even bar. So we've talked about the units of pressure. So just this is a reminder of those units. Say that the units, we measure atmospheric pressure in millimeter mercury. We measure it in Newton per meter squared. We measure it in bar. We measure it in Pascal and some other units like ATM. We also have units of pressure in ATM, but the common one we measure atmospheric pressure with are millimeter mercury, Newton per meter squared, bar, and Pascal. Although we also see atmosphere, ATM, frequently. The atmospheric pressure is basically the same thing as the gas pressure. So the pressure exerted by a force as it moves from one place to another. When you push a force, or when you transmit a force in a gas, it leads to pressure, and that is what we call the gas pressure. Atmospheric pressure, we find out that atmospheric pressure, that is the pressure in the atmosphere, it decreases in magnitude as the altitude increases above the sea level. That is, if this is the sea level, from ocean you are going up, the pressure will be decreasing. If you are going from sea to the sky, we find out that the pressure will be decreasing, and at the time you may get to a point that the pressure is almost equal to zero. And that is why people that climb high mountains or people that fly high jets, high altitude jets, they always wear pressure gas to supply them pressure when the pressure drops or when the pressure is too low for their bodies to cope with. Now we look at the instruments for measuring pressure. The instrument we use in measuring pressure, atmospheric pressure first, is called barometer. The instrument for measuring atmospheric pressure is called barometer. Barometer. And we have different types of barometer. We have simple barometer, we have 14 barometer, we have aneroid barometer, simple barometer, we have 14 barometer. This is how to write the 14, and we have aneroid barometer. Aneroid barometer. Simple barometer is just a very simple barometer that is made using a test tube. You will just invert a test tube in a container of water and then put it in a container of mercury and then measure the height of the trapped air, and that will give you the atmospheric pressure. Then 14 barometer is more organized and more advanced form of barometer that is used commonly in the laboratory. And then aneroid barometer is used in industrial places to measure atmospheric pressure. Aneroid barometer is also used by airliners, that is pilots. It is used in construction of aeroplanes to measure altitude and pressure as the height increases. Like I said previously, that pressure is very important for people that travel to a very high height, because in as the height increases, the pressure or the atmospheric pressure drops or reduces. So they have to check to know when it has become very uncomfortable for them to cope with, and then they will now apply their pressure equipment to maintain their body. So I say that simple parameter is a very simple parameter that is a very simple kind of parameter that is constructed using a test tube, and 14 barometer is more advanced form of a barometer that is used in a laboratory. And then aneroid barometer is an industrial barometer that is used in industries and also in aeroplanes. So these are the different types of barometer. Now we have the ones we call manometers. Manometer. Manometer is used in measuring other gas pressures. For atmospheric pressure, we use barometers, but for gases, other gases, we use what we call manometer. Manometer. We have two types of manometer. We have the normal manometer, and then we have the Bourdon gauge. Or let me say we have two types of instruments for measuring other gases, the manometer and the Bourdon gauge. Bourdon gauge. Manometer looks like is an instrument with two legs that looks like a U, measuring the difference in the height of mercury. Mercury is it contains a liquid called mercury. The difference in the height of the mercury in the two arms of the manometer gives the pressure in the manometer. So this is how a manometer looks. If you want to check it, you check the difference in the height of the liquid here and the liquid this side, and that will give you the pressure of the gas. Then Bourdon gauge is used in reading high pressures directly. So instead of checking the difference in the arms of the manometer, we use Bourdon gauge and place in the gas we want to check is pressure, and it will give us the reading directly. So that is the difference between Bourdon gauge and manometer. In manometer, you have to do simple calculation to get the difference between the two arms, the pressure in the two arms, but in Bourdon gauge, the reading comes directly. So these are the instruments that we use in measuring atmospheric pressure and gas pressure. I said that for atmospheric pressure, we use barometer, and we have three types of barometer we use. We have simple barometer, we have 14 barometer, we have aneroid barometer, and for the gas pressure, we have manometer and Bourdon gauge. There is nothing too much about the atmospheric pressure and the gas pressure.